It feels weird to be doing a series follow-up for Sweet Valley High when I haven't read even a tenth of all the Sweet Valley books in existence. But I spent the last 6 months of my life reading the 33 random books that I received for my birthday. I feel like that should count for something, so let's just call this an incomplete series review. Sweet Valley High started in 1983 as a TV soap opera, which was turned into a book series. It retains a lot of soap opera elements, like out-of-control romance and a large cast of reoccurring characters. The main characters are the Wakefield twins, Elizabeth and Jessica. They're both beautiful blondes with perfect size 6 figures, as every book likes to remind us. For the sake of creating drama, they were given opposite personalities, with Elizabeth being the good twin and Jessica being the bad twin. But bad twin is putting it mildly. Jessica is a horrible person. She's selfish, hateful, and lazy to an extreme. She constantly thinks mean things about other people, she gets mad whenever anyone talks about something other than her, and she regularly plots to destroy people's lives with little to no provocation. As the series progressed, Jessica mellowed out a bit, and her evil plots were downgraded into wacky schemes, usually centered around getting a guy's attention or becoming rich quickly. She still retained a lot of her nasty qualities, though. I did not like Jessica at all, and to be honest, that ruined the series for me. I hate the main character. Some soap opera villains are great characters that entertain, but not Jessica. I flat out dislike Jessica. Elizabeth, on the other hand, is a nice person who tries to help everyone. It's very common to have her give somebody a lecture which magically solves all their problems. I think she's a fine character, but some fans complain that she's unbearably sanctimonious and judgmental. Yeah, I can see that, but my main issue with Elizabeth is that she tends towards blandness. Her personality doesn't have much depth, and she rarely goes beyond generic nice girl who likes writing. When I started reading the series, I was annoyed by her bad habit of blowing things out of proportion for the sake of drama. To be fair, every character does that, not just her. As I kept reading, the thing that bothered me most about Elizabeth was her tendency to be tame and passive. She's a helpless damsel in distress, completely incapable of making her own decisions and solving problems on her own. This especially annoyed me when she had love triangles. She's great when it comes to solving other people's problems, but with her problems, all she does is whine endlessly. So I hate the one main character and I borderline dislike the other main character. I think that's the reason why I don't like this series so much. I don't like the two main characters. Maybe if I'd read the series in high school and had a secret crush on Elizabeth, then I'd like the series a lot more. But as it is now, I'm an adult who doesn't want his daughter reading this book and idolizing either of the two main leads. There are a number of secondary characters. Elizabeth has a group of friends who are basically the same as her, and Jessica has a group of sorority friends who are basically the same as her. The only friend that gets major treatment is Lila Fowler, who doubles as Jessica's biggest rival. The other main antagonist is Bruce Patman, the rich womanizer who is basically a male version of Jessica. The twins have rarely seen parents who let their kids do whatever they want with no consequences, and they have an older brother who sometimes shows up. I think Stephen is probably the biggest lost opportunity the series has. A male lead would have opened up a lot of storyline possibilities that the twins can't explore. Instead, the closest thing we have to a male lead is Todd Wilkins. Like Stephen, his personality is more or less world's most perfect boyfriend. He dates Elizabeth, and they're really a good fit for each other. The problem is that the series goes on so long, they've both cheated on each other multiple times, to the point where it's no longer credible. Todd ends up coming across as a wimp who will meekly put up with as much abuse as Jessica and Elizabeth can pile on him. I feel like I should also mention Winston Egbert, the comedy relief character who appears in a ton of books. He's never important enough to, say, appear on a book cover, but I feel like I shouldn't ignore the guy who shows up more often than the Wakefield parents. Well, those are all the main characters of the series. They're perfectly adequate to meet the series' needs. Let's move on to the actual books. My wife calls them trashy, I call them formulaic. There's always a subplot which has nothing at all to do with the main plot. The subplot usually focuses on a twin or a reoccurring character. The subplots tend to be forgettable since they don't affect the story. Let me just go through the list of books and see if I can remember the subplots. Jessica changes her grades. No idea. The twins might move, but they don't. No idea? No idea. They spend 30 pages getting ready for a costume party. It was the worst filler subplot of the series. Jessica might get a boyfriend, but she doesn't. No idea. Jessica makes necklaces. No idea. The twins compete with each other. I'm honestly surprised that wasn't a more common storyline. Jessica thinks her friend is a liar. Jessica might switch schools, but she doesn't. Poorly explained political intrigue. No idea. Jessica fails math. This book was awful and I am trying to block it from my memory. No idea. The twins make a cake. Wow, I remembered more than I thought I would. In addition to the pointless subplot, there's also a main plot. Sometimes it features one of the main characters, but more often it features a one-shot character who takes a starring role and never gets seen again. A new main character and new cast for every installment? That's something you can do with a book series, but not a TV show. It's an interesting setup, which allows for a lot of different scenarios. The main character can be literally anyone who's doing literally anything, as long as they're a 16-year-old girl who doesn't engage in certain adult activities. Sadly, I don't think the series truly took advantage of having a new main character every book. Instead of having a different storyline each time, the series just reused the same 3 or 4 storylines over and over again. This led to repeat personalities, as each main character generally assumed the personality best suited for their story. Most commonly, the story is that the main character has a big secret they're keeping from everyone. They spend 5 chapters lying about the secret over and over again until things reach the breaking point. The secret is revealed and there is a big fallout. The character has a change of heart and a happy ending ensues. Other stories I saw multiple times were Character Prepares for a Big Sports Competition and Special Episode Book, which deals with a heavy topic like an abusive parent or alcohol addiction. Racism seemed to be the most common of the special episode plots. Romance is pretty common in these books. Our character either has a crush or a boyfriend who's either good or bad. If it's a crush on a good person, the book ends with them getting together. If it's a relationship with a good person, they have a fake breakup and the book ends with them getting back together. If the love interest is a bad person, they break up. About 2/3 of the way through the series, Sweet Valley High switched to doing trilogies, although they called them mini-series since not every series had 3 books. They also didn't have names for the various mini-series, so readers are forced to make up names like Vampire Trilogy, the Fashion Trilogy, or the Really Awful Trilogy. Oh wait, that's all of them. The trilogies generally suffered from not having enough storyline that justify a trilogy. There would be enough story for 1, maybe 2 books, but things would be stretched out into 3 books through copious repetition and recap. There is also the problem of saving all the big plot developments for the end-of-book cliffhanger, making it feel like there is no progress made in the story. Good examples are Jessica quits the squad at the very end of the book, and vampire murder occurs on the last page. Okay, so that's my recap of the series. Doing the math, my average score for the series was a 4.3 out of 10, or slightly below average. That sounds about right to me. It's not downright awful, but I have a tendency towards disliking it, because I don't like one of the main characters, and I find the series to be repetitive. It's not the series for me, but I can understand why some people would enjoy this teenage soap opera. I feel like I was overly negative in this recap, so let me highlight some of the positives. The series does best when the story revolves around the regular characters. The main cast works together really well. The series also does a good job of keeping the drama levels high. It can't be easy for authors to write about love triangles and secrets for dozens of books in a row, but they put just as much effort into it the first time as they do the 150th time, so that was good too. Will I go back and review the other books in this series? Will I read the multiple spin-off series? Maybe, but probably not. For now, the Drama Cow and I are going on vacation.